My own vision at that time was that barriers would be broken down, the barriers that existed between whites and blacks um, would be broken down, and that we would, be able to live in this sort of really an idealized way where we would treat each other as human beings should. And I think that because, to some extent, within SNCC itself, there was a integrated group of us working together. So, to some extent, we were living the vision, that we talked about. I can remember meeting students from Georgia Tech, from Emory, and of course those were all white schools at that time, Agnes Scott, who also were getting involved in the movement, and getting together at somebody's house for parties, and going to the black community and eating at the restaurants together, or going to hear some jazz together. And most of the white kids were Southerners, and so they had never done anything like that. And it was really a very interesting situation, and we were meeting as equals. And at that point, I think it seemed that it would be just as simple as it was for us, coming together. And I think that the actual living out of this dream, using the metaphor from Dr. King, we believed that it could happen in the whole society. When I mentioned earlier about the women from Spelman who sat in for 2 or 3 weeks, that was an integrated group because 2 or 3 of the women in that group were exchange students who had come from one from Connecticut College for Women, one from in Oregon, Reed College, and Carleton College. And so, they were exchange students to Spelman, and they got really involved right away in the movement. And they became real good friends of mine during that period that they were there. So then when I think of 3 of the best friends I developed early on in SNCC, one was a Jewish guy from New York, and there were 2 Japanese American guys who were SNCC volunteers. So we were living in integrated housing units and all of that. So it seemed that just as we were breaking down those barriers on a one-on-one and within our group level, I think we thought it could happen in the larger society. And I know I didn't understand, a lot of the whole economic issues and underpinnings, and why racism has been used in this society, to keep people apart. So not understanding any of that, thinking that it was just a simple matter of getting people together and helping them to understand that they've been taught a lot of incorrect stuff. And once you tell them like it really is, people can be people with one another. There was a lot of naivete in it, but it was also a wonderful dream,